Shawn, why don't you introduce the show?
Sounds good. Welcome back to another episode of Warp, the completely unnecessary Star Trek podcast. We do unasked for audio commentaries of Star Trek episodes. My name is Shawn.
My name is Matt.
I'm Jake. Philippe.
Aaron.
I fucking nailed that. Oh, sorry.
You cut May off.
I'm sorry.
May also doesn't have a microphone in front of her, so
I like the way you said it.
there you go.
I fucking nailed the intro.
You did.
Yeah, till the last part. Except for the timing.
And Min's not
Except for the
here.
cue.
Unfortunately, Min Win is not here. We love you, Min.
So we're it's a real sort of like spit and scotch tape producing situation.
Producer
over here.
Jake is actually
Thank God
having
Jake
to
was here
earn his
because
money today.
Jake figured it out how to get this going.
You guys remember when I had to do this like all the time?
Yeah, but it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
You had to draw on some skills.
Yeah, we were recording this on a Victrola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today we are watching season 4, episode 20, 420. Everybody,
Oh, I didn't even make that connection.
When will this episode? Oh, it'll come out. When will this episode come out?
not 420, but in April,
But close.
I bet
somewhere around there.
Go ahead, keep talking.
And we got some amount of time. I don't see a clock, so fuck it.
It doesn't have the time on it.
They're gonna punch the triangle. Matt's gonna punch it. So go ahead, Matt. Count it in,
Hold on a second. Hold on.
or not. We can talk over it.
What is this, Qpid?
Not me.
Qpid.
April 29th is when this
that's not bad.
This will come
You
out.
can do a post 420
So
party.
happy 420. We're
We're
watching
talking
Qpid.
about marijuana.
We're talking about Qpid.
We are.
Aaron, you like Q.
I do.
Q is fun.
This is a fun episode, you guys. It's got a lot of action and humor and sexy. Jean-Luc gets his sexy on again this week.
With
you
the
guys.
return of Vash.
I'm going to see Jean-Luc's old girlfriend again.
Vash.
And so it's actually an X on this controller. I punched the X.
We need to pour one out for Netflix.
We're getting a little bit of a commercial.
We have to. This
We're
is
watching
the
on Paramount Plus.
first episode we're
Knowledge.
watching.
There
What's
it
going
is.
on?
Episode just started. Go.
Paramount.
Everything's fucky now.
Netflix kicked Star Trek Next Generation off of its platform. So now I'm thinking I may not even need Netflix anymore. We don't really watch anything on Netflix
I don't think
these
the
days.
fish is in there this
Do you
week,
think they
guys.
kicked him off, or do you think Paramount Plus is just like gathering it all
I see
up?
motion.
Oh, yeah, I did. Just as you said that, I did too.
I think the contract just ran out.
Yeah.
And they didn't. Paramount's like, fuck it. We'll just have it on ours.
Well, it is a nice thing of Paramount Plus is they have all this.
You got to hold the microphone.
You got to put a mic in front of you if you're going to talk.
Because I can't hear you if you don't talk into the microphone.
Better say something good.
Producer Jake.
No.
So
Anyway, it's on Paramount Plus now, and that's how we're watching it. So we got a little CBS promo right at the start, but that's okay. There's no other commercials than just that little thing right at the beginning.
Yeah.
It still feels inferior. I will say, for Netflix sake, they got streaming down.
Yep.
That's
do.
That's one thing I will say. Like the least amount of glitches.
Paramount Plus still, it definitely feels like the bottom tier like streaming service, right? Like Star Trek is what they've got, and some Paramount, they've got Paramount movies, but really, like Star Trek is what they're putting all their chips
they're really
on because
banking on.
they are making so much Star Trek. I was
They
telling
just-
Aaron before we started, Star Trek, the Chicago Star Trek convention is going on right now as we speak, and they're already talking about like
How many more shows?
more seasons of Discovery and more like all the shows are just rolling all on.
Didn't they have a big thing with
And
the
the
Lower
new
Decks
one starts
guys
next
all?
month.
Didn't they do a thing with all the voice actors? The Lower Decks were all there.
They did. The Lower Decks people were there today. Did you guys see any of the pictures?
No.
They cosplayed as their characters.
Yeah, they were in character.
It was pretty funny.
Nice.
Jack Quaid had like
Purple
Boimler,
hair.
like blue, like some kind of prosthetic on his head that made him look like he had Boimler's hair. It was very funny.
So when I put Paramount Plus on and then I searched Star Trek, because ironically it wasn't on the homepage, which was somewhat alarming.
Look what
You'd think it
Jean-Luc's
would have
looking.
a dedicated
Oh.
vertical.
He
for
got
Star
it.
Trek.
What is that
A
called?
Horgon.
That's
The
a Horgon,
Horgon.
baby.
Yeah.
He just keeps it on his coffee table.
She brought it.
Oh, she put it there.
Yeah.
Vash.
Yeah, there she is.
She'll save everyone
Well,
else.
anyway, I
She's
finally
terrific.
did the search on Star Trek, and the whole field of selections, it was walled. The whole
Yeah, that's all the Star Trek.
there's a zillion, and Aaron almost fainted.
How did she get into his quarters is what I've always kind of wanted to
She
know.
has her ways.
I guess so. She has a bit of a, she probably knows how to pick locks,
She's a
right?
thief, so
Yeah, she's a professional thief.
She's a tomb raider.
She is.
Been in one episode before.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll talk about it in a sec. Sean, give us the stats.
So we're watching Qpid, as I said, season 4, episode 20. Original air date, April 20th, 1991.
Really?
So this episode
It's a
aired
double 420?
on 420.
420, 420?
Yep.
Wow.
Aiming to get out of Jean-Luc's debt, Q forces Captain Picard and his officers to live out the legend of Robin Hood with a past acquaintance as Maid Marian.
Mm-hmm.
May, what do you think the IMDb rating of this episode is?
Oh my god, guys. I'm gonna give it a 9.
A 9!
Wow.
Is that the first time you've ever not
I
said 7?
it.
Wow. Aaron?
7.5?
It's way better than that.
I'm gonna say 8.5.
I think this is a terrific episode, and I am with May. So I'm going to say 9.1.
8.7.
Everybody's over. 7.2.
Oh,
Oh, shoot.
that's
The
so
one
It's so
wrong.
it's these Star Trek fans, they have no sense of humor.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
it.
but I think this one is I think this is one of the ones nerds like.
There's one of the 7-star reviews is called Utterly Ridiculous.
Well,
Everything else.
Cupid is
everything else makes perfect
is
sense
a
on this
silly
show.
episode, one which is inconsequential and harmless
People don't like it when it doesn't move like some main plot. It's so.
when
yeah.
they're just trying to have fun.
Yeah, they just absolutely hate it. Like,
This was my favorite one of all this that I've actually seen. So
It's great. I love this episode.
all the Star Trek nerds I know, like all the Trek Twitter and all those people, they all love this.
Sure.
one.
But remember, it's the people who would
Go on.
rate on IMDb.
Right, sure.
So we're not talking. We've learned not to trust their opinions about these episodes.
So this is the morning after.
Yes.
She stayed over.
Yeah.
And now they're having breakfast.
They done boned.
They did.
Dirty.
This episode was flagged as having sexual content. I saw it in the little
Aaron,
corner there.
do you remember the one where he went on vacation and he went down to the pleasure planet? And
I
he
know you
met-
remember
and
what he
met
wore.
her and they had sex.
Oh, Beverly.
He wore those little short shorts.
Yeah. I forgot that was the
That's
episode
that-
she was
that's
in.
her.
That's right.
So Beverly just showed up because she's like, I have tea with the captain every morning. And she's like, oh, your fuck buddy is here? Like, who is this person? And she's like, oh, I stuck my nose in on something.
I mean,
Yeah, she's like, I gotta find out
She's
more.
like, I want to hear all about it.
she came over with a sweater that reveals like clavicle.
She's got it's almost a one shoulder kind of a deal.
I know it's a little bit sexy for her.
It's supposed to be early in the morning, right? They're having their morning
Yes.
tea.
Yeah.
But she's not dressed for work. Like she's still wearing her casual.
Oh.
She must dress like when she gets to work, you know?
Do people still dress, or do they just beam their clothes on? Do we know that? Because
I don't know the
Does
answer.
mean,
it
if
ever
I was
actually
super-
show anybody
No,
putting on
I
clothes?
Putting on or taking off
their
a piece of
uniforms?
clothing.
Yeah.
Well, their uniforms at least.
yeah.
And what's the new one?
Discover?
Discovery. you see them like using the whatever to make clothes.
Yeah, they make
replicator.
their
So
uniforms.
presumably they then put them on separately. So.
Not they don't have them beamed
Beamed
right
on,
onto
no.
their bodies.
Or replicated right onto their body.
Seems like a waste of technology.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Riker's like,
Hey,
who's this?
Yeah.
Who's this hot little number?
he just immediately. I think this is this one or the next one that's directed by. It might be the next episode that's directed by Jonathan Frakes.
Look at that. Look at that smile.
Yeah, it's the next one.
It's the next one.
Yeah. This one was directed by Cliff Bowles.
Cliff Bowles, everybody.
He directed a lot of these.
Yes.
He was one of their regular guys.
Oh,
Riker
yeah.
goes up and like puts the moves on.
He's like, oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? He's like,
He's got like a line that he
oh, he
uses.
does. He just immediately goes into it.
And she's like, oh, only someone named Will Riker would ever say something so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we talked about this before, but she's got a Courtney Cox vibe going on.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
We talked about her a little bit last time she was on. She was the dead lady who was the narrator of Desperate Housewives.
That's right.
In the early days of Desperate Housewives. Remember they were trying to solve the murder of their friend.
Indeed.
So she's finding out that Jean-Luc has not told anybody about her. Like they don't know who she is. And it's starting to bug her a little bit. Even though they had a one night stand, but well, now it's been 2 nights, but she's a little irritated that he never mentioned her.
I think it was less about like he didn't tell them about their relationship, and more of he didn't tell us about their adventure.
Right.
Like, I'm a badass Tomb Raider type.
Right.
No one knows me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's
Makes sense.
interesting. That I interpreted it as her being upset that he had from a romantic
that
point of
too,
view.
That too.
But
I think it's both.
But yeah, it could be like, you mean my reputation has not
She sits
preceded
in the
me?
chair.
I mean,
She puts her feet up
She
on it.
fucking sits in the chair, which no one ever does. And they're all like, what
Worf
the
is totally
hell?
like-
Worf's furious. Worf wants to kill her. When she first shows up on the bridge, he's like, no unauthorized people are allowed on the bridge. Like, he really wants to hurt her. Meanwhile, Riker thinks it's hilarious. Now that he realized he can't hit on her, he's just
He's
thinks
like,
this is all
oh,
very
right.
funny.
Jean-Luc's getting some.
Because remember, Riker was the one who sent him to Risa
Right.
in the
Yeah.
first place.
Specifically
With the
to-
Hargon.
Yeah.
He was like, Captain, you need to go take this Hargon down to the planet.
Yeah.
Go get some Jamaharan
But you're not supposed to bring the
on.
Have some
Hargon back
Jama-
to the ship.
Have some Jamaharan while you're there. That's what they called it, remember?
He didn't follow the basic rule of Risa. What
Aaron's
stays on
laughing
Risa.
'cause she's just now remembered Jamaharan.
What happens on Risa stays on Risa.
Yeah.
Vash is breaking the
You got to rise out of them.
Somebody's
Risa
knocking on
rules.
your door, studio door. Oop, careful where you step.
Wait, is that a combination earring necklace?
I think it must be, yeah. It's definitely connected to her ears.
Oh.
It is, yeah. Oh my god,
I mean,
that
that's
would
got to
be
be heavy, right?
that would be painful. I would think. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's probably clipped on, but still.
Yeah.
It just looks like that just looked heavy.
Worf just said she had nice
Worf
legs.
says she has nice legs, which is a weird thing for Worf to say.
yeah.
Worf is pretty funny in this episode across the
Gonna
board.
get it.
Worf is just. This is a very humans are stupid episode
Right.
for Worf.
What?
So now she's
So now that you see her
See, now
and
we
are
had an
reminded of her,
adventure.
do you remember? Does it? Do you remember her now?
Me?
Yes, you.
Sort of.
Well,
The second thing she mentioned when she started talking to him was like, you didn't tell them we met, and you didn't tell them we had an adventure.
all the crazy
Yeah.
fun we had.
Yeah, it was like the full thing.
It was a whole Indiana Jones
Yeah,
episode.
That's right.
They went looking for treasure.
Yeah. I remember the short shorts the most, but it's cool.
The short shorts are memorable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in Jean-Luc's defense, he did not
There
think he
he
was ever
is.
going to see her again. So,
Yes, he thought it was a one-off.
yeah.
He was happy to see her, as you saw, because they
Right.
had sex again immediately.
Yeah.
And Q shows up.
And then Q shows up. I think you're right. I think that fish is down there kind of mixed in with the coral.
He just bathes in the seas of ham every time he's on.
He's
this
great.
show.
He's great
so
in this.
great.
He's great in the new season of Picard. He's been so good.
so good. I haven't watched the last episode, but,
I'm one behind. I'm going to watch it
okay.
tonight, I think.
but
He's terrific.
the scenes with him and Brent Spiner in the last episode I watched were fucking great.
Yeah. I'm liking Picard season 2.
It's
Oh,
really-
so the big news this week, you guys have heard this, or maybe you have.
Oh yeah.
The big news this week is that in Picard season 3, the entire cast of the Next Generation is going to be back.
The only one that's not
Except
is
Will
Wesley.
Wheaton.
Yeah, Will Wheaton isn't.
Why not?
I don't know.
No.
He's talked. He hosts the after show,
It's possible they're
On
saving him
Paramount Plus
as a like. They don't want to tell
and
everybody he's going to be on
he's
it.
talked about wanting to come back. So,
But they
I
have
don't know
officially said that
all seven of the main 7
Worf
cast.
and
Sweet.
Worf
Wow.
Worf, Jordy,
Jordy,
Troy,
and
Nice that
Beverly,
everyone's still
Troy and
thriving.
Riker have been on.
Troy and Riker and Data have all
and
been
the-
on already.
But the other
That's
three,
the other
fun.
4, or the
That's
other 3 are
fun.
going to
That
be
must
on.
be so
Yeah.
fun for them.
So we'll find out.
Gates.
We'll find out what happened to Beverly.
Beverly,
which seems
right.
to be the question that most people want answered, because
Yeah.
you're making a show that's all about Picard.
and there's been no Beverly.
He had this entire, history with Beverly. So the big question that's sort of been hovering over Picard the last 2 seasons
Where
is
has she been?
where's Beverly? Like, did they end up together? Clearly not, because he's alone now in the, in the way the show is now.
Yes.
Do you even care what's happening? I could tell you. Or is it more fun to just imagine in your mind what's happening?
I think by Act 2 it gets good, and you're just like, oh, it just looks cool, because that's when they get to the Robin Hood part.
Oh yeah.
The
I
Robin
saw
Hood part
some
is when it gets
screenshots.
fun. So yeah, a lot of big Star Trek news this week.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're in the pre-Robin Hood era of this episode.
Yes.
Jean-Luc is supposed to be giving a speech. This entire first chunk of this episode is just about, is Jean-Luc's speech going to go well or not? He's very worried about how his speech is going to be received. And everyone else is sick of hearing about it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Just
No, that's
making
all
sure
right.
everyone's
I'm
still
just
alive
talking
in the
to
main
myself
house.
over here. It's fine.
We're just doing a welfare check,
Yeah,
unrelated to the podcast.
Well, my welfare is fine.
Yay!
I
Nobody
really
asked about. Nobody checked my welfare, but I'm telling you, it is adequate.
Thank you.
I love this moment where he kind of fakes walking by the door
Yeah,
first.
Right? He
Make
doesn't want anybody to see him.
Make sure the person's left the room before he goes to the door.
She's like, who? New starship, who dis?
Right? She knows one person. Like, who else would it be? Riker.
It'd be Riker.
Yeah.
Riker would not care. Riker would not care that Jean-Luc had already had sex with
Oh,
her.
no,
like
no.
Riker would.
Look, space picture.
Yep, space on the wall.
You could look out the window, but no, we got a painting on the wall. of
And
space.
cherry tomatoes.
Oh my god.
She's got a bowl full of cherry tomatoes sitting on her table. Did you notice those?
Yes.
Okay. I noticed them last night and said, who just has like a pile of cherry tomatoes sitting on their living room table?
They've got really good chemistry together.
They have terrific chemistry. They're very, it's always fun to see her. Because she's a good partner for him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they have sort of conflicting values, but they're also really into each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this sort of push-pull where
Philippe just poked me. I think he thinks that's us or something. What's Patrick Stewart's story in real life? Is he married?
he is married. He's married
For a long time?
Yes, he's married to somebody who he met on this show. So
it's
they've
been
been
a
married
while.
since at least the night. I think he was married before, but his current wife is. They
She
met
was a staff
on this.
member or
Yeah, she
something?
was a
Isn't
behind the
she
scenes person.
Cool.
Considerably younger than him.
Well, I don't know considerably,
Like 10, 15
but yes,
years.
she
something
is
like
younger
that.
than him.
Well, this gal must be 10, 15 years younger than him.
But they've been married. He and his wife have been married
Just
for
saying.
a long time now. Well, I can tell you how old she was when we made this episode. When they made this episode.
I mean, I know he like went bald and gray young, so but he's like 50 and during
she was born in 1960,
So she's in her 30s
70.
and he's in his 50s.
Wait, she was born in 1960.
I see 58.
Okay, well,
but
even so,
in her
this is
30s
80.
during-
This is
yeah.
like 88,
It's
right?
like
91.
So she's in her early 30s,
33.
right?
He's
And
in
what's
his,
he?
He's in his 40s.
Yeah.
Mid 40s, something like
Just
that.
saying.
He's like our age.
Classic Hollywood. There's usually
Oh,
10 to 15
sure,
years.
Of course. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's normal for on
Well,
the
that's
screen.
why Beverly's always felt like such a good match for him
They
because
are age appropriate.
they're basically the same. They're sort of the same age,
Mhm.
so they feel like contemporaries.
But, it's just a rice piece.
Patrick Stewart was born in 1940, so he's 50
Almost 20
now.
years older than.
So he's 20 years older than her.
Yep.
Yep.
Correct.
Sexism in Hollywood.
Numbers, math. We're not just Star
But
Trek
if she comes
nerds.
back on the show, Picard show, she'll play his mom. That's how Hollywood
That's
works.
how that works.
Short shorts.
Look at that. I love his lounge. I love
his
sleeping
sleepwear
wear.
is that
Yeah.
that little half robe he
Yeah.
wears.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
Easy access, baby. But they're like shorts, aren't they?
They're shorts, but
They-
it's got a little robe like
But are they
tie
connected?
around the middle.
And I think it's all one piece, isn't
That's
it?
what I'm saying.
But it's
okay.
got, like,
Don't you
short
feel like that would
bottoms.
ride up in the night? Like when you're tossing and turning,
It
would
doesn't
just
look
be a
like
big
it would
wedgie.
be comfortable.
What do you guys wear? What do you guys sleep in?
Well, I don't sleep in a one piece, that's for sure.
You don't sleep in one of those?
No, because
Since
I
pandemic started, my clothes.
yeah,
What
just
I
roll
wear.
right out.
I wear boxer briefs. So
Yeah,
I
that's
sleep
all.
in my boxer briefs.
That's all I wear.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
hot
if
at
Sometimes
it's,
I'll wear a t-shirt.
If it's cold, I'd never wear a shirt. I can't have things on my arms. I don't know. It's hard for me to sleep, but I'll wear pants like.
Do you like a
lounging
blanket
pants.
over your arms though, or do you like it to be all out?
I have very, very specific sleeping conditions.
I do tell.
Gee, that's
Go on.
really shocking here.
Go
Good
on. I need
news.
to know more.
I can
All right.
I can only sleep on my belly with my right hand under the pillow under my head,
Okay.
my left hand resting upon my forehead like this.
Interesting. It must. You probably was a
with my-
position you had as a infant.
With my
honestly.
left leg up,
Uh-huh.
like in a kind of pricked.
That is almost
Oh, like
exactly
bent-
how I sleep.
like
Is
bent?
it? It's almost exactly how I sleep.
I'll fall asleep.
Wait, your leg is like up in the air?
No.
Like perpendicular?
No. It's like
Like-
it's like V'd against the other leg.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Horizontally.
That's the way I sleep.
Got it.
Except I don't use the left
But I'm
hand on
not
my
like on my
forehead
side.
always.
I'm on my belly with that leg kind of up, which kind of gives me a little bit of a tweak to the side.
Yeah, yeah.
And I literally,
like
other
a
than
three-quarter
just the
profile.
fact that I can pass out just about anywhere,
Yeah.
if I go to bed and sleep, I cannot fall asleep in any other position but that.
That makes so much sense to me.
But you move around in the night, or is you hold that position?
I-
Which side of the bed are you on from Catherine? Are you on the right hand?
I'm on
You're standing
her-
at the foot of the bed.
I'm on the
looking
left
up.
side.
You're on the left.
I'm on Catherine's right.
You're on the back, closer to the back of the house, the backyard.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Here they come.
Yay! We
They
got
must have had so much fun making this episode. I meant to read the Memory Alpha page to see if they had any interesting tidbits. Because they must have had so much fun doing this.
Talk about Errol Flynn.
They're outside. You know, they're getting to be out in the sun.
One
They're
of the
not
things-
in some
there's a-
studio.
There's a big fight at some point in time where Riker, who's Little John,
Yeah.
is fighting a guy with his quarterstaff, and the other guy's got a sword, and he got injured, and they had to take him to the hospital, and he was in his garb. And when he went to the hospital, no one really said anything, and they figured it's because it's a Hollywood hospital, that kind of shit happens.
Yeah,
all the
people get
time.
injured while they're in costume.
Nice.
And it's got there's a pretty cool, the guest star is got a cool other
The king?
yeah,
You know, speaking of
other credit.
the Errol Flynn version of The Adventures of Robin Hood, which is the main thing that this is spoofing, was just on TV the other night. It was on Turner Classic Movies. And I had never seen it. I've always, you see clips from it, but I'd never sat down and actually watched it all the way through. Has anybody ever watched that movie?
I've seen parts of it.
Is it black and white?
No, it's bright Technicolor. It's one of those. It looks like this. It's very bright.
Colorized.
It's even like less.
The greens are very green.
Worf just takes off.
Worf just takes off and
I'm
gets his ass
I'm just
kicked
kidding.
again.
So this guy,
Poor Worf. Whenever they want to show how tough somebody is,
Yeah.
they make him
Gets
beat up
his
on
ass
Worf,
beat.
which is why Worf never wins a fight
Yep.
ever on this show.
so like,
Yeah.
well, this time he gets called away.
Picard's like, let's go.
The actor who plays this guy,
Wouldn't the obvious move to be to stab the horse? Wouldn't that be the thing to do if you were
that
really
would
in
be-
that situation?
That would be dishonorable, though. Well, Worf would never do that.
I'm just saying, if you're in a fight to the death, you play dirty. Like,
I mean,
I'm not saying you guys all made a sound like you thought I wanted to kill a horse.
Why is Matt such a horse stabber?
we're just upset that that's the first place you went.
Yeah,
It wasn't the first place I went.
that's the first place your sword went.
We're
I was-
so disappointed.
Oh gosh! All right.
The English
enough.
longsword is just not Worf's weapon. You got to give him some credit there.
Yes, if he had had a batleth,
Yeah.
he would have
That's
been
right.
better.
I mean, the horse would be dead. Everybody would be dead.
I will say, Q's looks pretty dashing in that blue.
He does.
He's got a matching horse.
Everyone looks great in this episode. Like I said, it's just a lot of fun, and I bet it was fun to do. Oh, we don't have to
Which
be
is
on the
why
we
it
don't have to be
deserves
on
a
the bridge set
9.
this week for the 10,000th time. We get to run around. Patrick Stewart apparently wanted more, like actiony episodes. He didn't want so many. We sit at the conference table and talk out the answers episodes. So they started writing Picard as a little bit more action adventure-y than he had been in like the early. Like if you think back to the early first couple of seasons, Jean-Luc basically thinks really hard
Right.
every week.
Riker would do all the actiony
Right.
stuff down on the planet.
And
Yeah,
and
that's
Patrick
true.
Stewart was like,
Come on,
I want to
man.
run around and, do fun stuff too.
And they're like, okay, we'll put
And they're
you
like-
in a Robin Hood
They're
costume.
like, well, you're the star of the show, so if you want to do more action scenes, we'll write them for you. And you start to notice it more and more as the seasons roll on. There's an episode coming up in a couple of seasons where it's basically Die Hard, except Jean-Luc is the Bruce Willis.
Nice.
Everyone else is off the ship. Jean-Luc's the only person on the ship, except for a bunch of bad guys who are trying to steal the ship.
And he's
So
call-
it's Picard crawling around through the tubes
The
of
Jeffries
the Enterprise and shit. I mean, literally, it's Die Hard, except Jean-Luc is the star of it. And it's a great episode. It's a lot of fun.
Come on down to the solar system. We'll have a few laughs.
Have a few laughs. Come on over to the wormhole.
We just watched Sixth Sense last night,
Yeah.
and I think it's my second time through.
Yep.
It's interesting. Have you watched it after you knew what the surprise was, or did you know?
I got
that-
spoiled, so I never saw it without
Oh,
knowing.
that's too bad. Bummer, because it's kind of like wow. It was a butt kick of a surprise.
I was having lunch. There's a little park in West Hollywood where I used to go and have lunch.
Oh, and someone was
And-
yammering about
And I
it.
was sitting there at one of the picnic tables, eating my sandwich or whatever. And these two guys at like the next table over
yammering.
were talking about it. And the one guy was like, holy shit, he was dead the whole time. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because it had been out for a little while, so
Sure.
I had been trying to like avoid,
Sure.
and it was pre-internet, so you didn't have to worry about like reading anything about it. So he didn't mean to spoil it; it was an accident. But I was like,
Yeah.
fuck. But anyway,
Well,
what
it was
what was
interesting.
it like?
I don't know. I mean, since you know it is just very different. It's like super obvious the second time around, but the first time around, it did fool me. I mean,
I think
I
what's fun about movies like that is watching it the second time.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Because you get to see all of the little clues that
There were a lot of
they
clues.
cheat ever.
But it was also well done. I mean, Bruce Willis's interactions with the kid are really what anchors it.
Sure.
Yeah, I just think
It's a great
is
movie. I think.
Yeah, it really is obvious on the second time, but completely fooled me. And I'm usually like looking for like.
I don't tend to be one who tries to solve mysteries, but I didn't see it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was more tuned into his movies and trying to solve them beforehand, after that. But
it is really clever the way they all do.
It's
the way
done
they do it
amazingly well. Like it's done amazingly well.
That scene in the restaurant where you don't notice at the time that she never says anything back to him. It's just really clever.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good movie. And Haley Joel Osment was an amazing child actor.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, look at that.
that's good.
Worf just smashed Jordy's mandolin.
My lute.
Jordy was like strumming this thing.
And then
Aaron,
he
you
said, "Sorry."
couldn't hear it, but it sounded terrible because Jordy didn't actually know how to play it. Meanwhile, Deanna's trying to teach herself how to shoot bows and arrows, but she shot Data by accident. Look at that bald cap they got on Brent Spiner.
Oh my god. It's doesn't even match his skin tone or his.
Yeah, they need some sparkle on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Data's like, I am a robot. You can shoot me full arrows.
I don't know, but maybe it's because I'm sexist. But like the whole thing about coming to a dinner date and being late and the girl being so pissed off she doesn't even say a word to you was very, very believable in my world.
Sorry, I forgot that we were talking about the
Note
success.
that this is
what is he talking
me and Philippe.
That's true.
Pre me and Philippe.
Pre you.
But that's what's so clever about it is that you're like, oh, she's pissed,
Yeah.
right? Because it's so well structured. It's so well, like the way the camera is shooting it, it really sells it. And the whole thing with him not being able to open the door, like you see it, and then you see it from the wider angle, and you realize why. Like it's just a very good movie. It's his best movie, easily, right? Like not even close.
So this guy here, the actor,
that's Sir Guy.
Clive Revel is his name.
Yes.
He is one of the few actors that has been in both Star Trek and Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
He played the original Emperor.
Really?
In Empire Strikes Back, in the scene where he talks to the hologram Emperor.
Yeah.
That was this guy. That scene.
Darth's in his black like tube thingy.
Yep. And he talks to him. And that scene has been lost to time because now
they digitally erased
Ian
him.
McDiarmid, who played him in the other movies.
George Lucas, man, what a villain.
So I don't think unless you've got an old copy of the original print, you won't ever be able to see that scene.
Stan still has his VHS copies of the original unaltered.
Oh, I love you, Stan.
Bring it and the
what
VCR.
he doesn't have is a VCR player.
I actually have the original on DVD because when they released the DVDs, the special edition DVDs in the early 2000s, they were with a copy of the original.
Oh, it came with both?
Trailer. Yeah, I had it. The DVD doesn't work. It's got a scratch in it, so you can't use it. But I had the original Star Wars, in which it does not say Episode 4: A New Hope.
Oh.
The scroll only says Star Wars.
You can say to yourself, if it weren't for this scratch, I could watch this movie.
Wow.
Sucks.
I bet my parents still have because they had that the VHS
sure.
collector's edition, and I bet they still have it. I bet because they still
was
have
it the remastered one?
No, it was the last. It was that last. It was that last box of VHSs that was still the original.
Oh, the one that had. Okay, yeah.
Dang.
Oh, look at this.
Look at Jean-Luc. He's cosplaying.
His character work is
Yes.
You know, Jean-Luc loves to cosplay because he loves to go on the holodeck and pretend to be a detective.
Shakespeare and stuff in real life.
Yeah, he's an actor.
I know Robin Hood
Look
is
at
a
this.
fictional character, but what century is this supposed to be?
It's always supposed to be like sort of the 13th century.
Okay.
Yeah, 12th, 13th, around
Just
there.
thought
It's
I'd
very,
check in on
you know,
that.
it's old. It's an old medieval
Yeah.
legend. The original like stories about Robin Hood.
Climbing through the window.
Yeah, he's come to rescue her, and she's like, "I don't need rescuing."
Well, so she's straight, like, when she figured out, oh, I'm a Marion, I'm supposed to marry this guy or else he's going to kill me. She's like, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right.
She's like immediately goes into, oh, baby.
It's one of those things that's great
about.
about Vosh is that she always does. She doesn't do the Starfleet thing, right?
No.
She's like, "Oh, I know what this is.
Yeah.
I'll just say a lie now."
Yeah, she's a survivor.
Yeah.
She's immediately starts working the problem.
And Q is like learning that she is like this,
Yeah.
and he's like kind of starting to respect her.
All these
He's
because all the humans.
it's game recognizing game.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what's happening.
Well, he's only been really with Picard, right? He's the only human who always has this like weird moral center, and he's finding this other human that does not have
Right.
a moral center like Jean-Luc does.
And she's like him. She's like Q in that sense.
Sounds like they should hook up.
Well, wow, you just predicted the end of the episode.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Well done.
Spoiler.
I'm assuming that anybody who's
Dead
listening
the
to
whole
this, I'm
time.
assuming that our tens
Yes.
of listeners
Did you
have
know
seen
that
this episode.
Brad Pitt was all inside Edward Norton's mind?
Nice.
Oh no, you want to just do
20
an episode of spoilers?
20-year-old spoilers.
All right, let's just do them. Let's just do them all.
What is
Darth-
green?
Snape kills Dumbledore.
Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
He was dead the whole time. Oh, that's Sixth Sense. We did that one already.
That one.
Andrew and Toby are in No Way Home. Oh.
Right, all
Oh,
the Spider-Mans.
What is your favorite twist ending?
My favorite twist
Or
is
your-
Chinatown.
Nice.
Yeah, Jake just loves that incest
Sixth
stuff.
Sense is probably up there, honestly, because
that is a really good question. Like best twist ending. I'm gonna have to
Usual
think about it.
usual suspects will always be mine.
Sure,
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
good.
That was
Yeah,
a pure
correct.
jaw drop moment.
Yeah,
like
you're right.
I was
You're right. Kaiser
totally
Soze.
flabbergasted. It blew my mind. I love that movie. Too bad it's directed by a monster.
And starring
haven't-
one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time. Does it hold up?
I haven't watched it in a long time because it's, hard for me to
Yeah.
watch Kevin Spacey stuff these days, but I used to watch it all the time, and knowing the twist, I think it still holds up as a good
Yeah.
movie, but it's got just great performances.
It's great. It's
I
got
mean,
great character performances.
Well, some
Kevin
people-
Pollak is fucking great. Benicio del Toro is a fucking maniac
Some
in that
people
movie.
make the argument that when it's an ensemble cast, like, don't just blame like one or two. You know what I mean?
I understand, but
Yeah, it's hard when he's in.
it's just that
I
you don't understand how much I love Kevin Spacey. I
Yeah.
don't think like he was my
just a
guy, and to know that the whole time he was a fucking monster just breaks my heart.
I think for a while my favorite one was Memento, which has a pretty.
That is
That was a great one.
that is
Yes.
a great
That one blew my
movie.
mind, and I was like, I need to see that movie again and put it all back together.
Yeah.
Plus, it's all shot out of order. And
Well, that movie's just so well done in general.
That is
but yeah.
one of my favorite movies. I just love that movie.
Yep.
I'm googling best twist endings just to
Throw some other ones.
give me some ideas of ones that might be mine.
Like there was one pretty recent we saw that I was like, what?
Okay, what's the worst twist ending movie you've seen? That's a
Oh, okay. You know what I'm going to answer May's question.
Uh,
That the woman in the window across the street from the lady thing that was on Netflix.
Yeah,
It was like
the
a
Kristen
spoof
Bell.
of all of those.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like an 8 episode. Did anybody? You guys watch?
Yeah, we love it. We
Did anybody
watch it.
else watch it?
Yeah,
You guys
we
watch
watched it. We watched it. We
Is
watched it.
good?
That has a twist ending that is. I mean, it's a spoof of a twist ending, but it's also a great twist ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was a good one.
Don't tell me. Sorry.
Okay.
But
it's just it's both hilarious and kind of satisfying.
Yeah.
Who it turns out to be.
So,
Yeah, I'm just
So meanwhile,
what's the worst one?
these two are having their like Nick and Nora sort of like banter flirt-y thing where they are just arguing over what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Because he's like, we got to get out of here. And she's like, leave me alone. I'm mad at you because you didn't tell any of your friends.
I know.
And now I'm trapped in some weird Ren Fair like
And I'm going to get
thing,
my head cut off.
and I didn't ask for any of this. And Jean-Luc's like, let's talk about it later. Meanwhile, Q is really mean in this episode, I think, because he's like one of the criticisms. I'm going to back up one step. One of the criticisms that some people have made about this season of Star Trek Picard is that Q is behaving un-Q-y. But I think because he's very sort of. He's much darker and meaner, sort of, this season. But Q's pretty mean in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna let Jean-Luc die
Yeah.
in this moment.
Q is mean.
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean.
So I get the point that people are making is that, oh, he's not funny, Q. But he was always mean, Q.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's just old. He's not as kind of.
Well, I think there's something wrong with him, right? Because his shit's
Well, that's
not
the
working.
other thing. He's got something's going on.
I think he's acting. I think that John Delancey is playing him that way on purpose.
Sure, yeah.
Because there's something going on.
Yep.
So here's Patrick Stewart saying, I want to do more action scenes. And the
All
show
right.
said, all right, we'll do.
You see-
what about a sword fight?
You see all the people that are sword fighting right now?
Yep.
All of them are all male.
Yeah,
That was not Patrick Stewart.
And what happens on the
And
field?
the women come in and
With-
smash pots
Yep.
on the head.
They use the cookware.
The only people, and in a great bit of beautiful misogyny, the only people in the cast who had actual skill with sword fighting were Marina Sirtis and Gates McFadden.
Yeah, I read that same bit of trivia because they had both taken like sword fighting
Yep.
classes when
Yep.
they were in acting school or whatever.
Yeah, they do that in acting school.
But they didn't give.
And
They didn't let them have a sword fight.
Nope.
They made them do the girly
Yep.
bullshit of like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna smash you over the head with this flower
That's
pot.
some wonderful 90s.
I'm
sexism.
surprised. You know what surprised me about that factoid? I'm surprised. That's not Patrick Stewart. Look at that.
Nope.
Whenever he's on the stairs, it's not him in the wide shot. Patrick Stewart went to the RSC. He's like a classically trained actor. I'm
Yeah,
surprised
he
that he
would-
doesn't have sword fight
Right.
training. Because he's exactly the kind of guy who would.
Mm-hmm. To go back, I would say the worst surprise ending is also M. Night, is The Village.
Okay.
Yeah. Terrible.
I've never seen The Village.
I hated Signs. I hated the end, the twist of Signs.
Is it really a twist or just a cop out?
I mean, whatever it is, but it's terrible. I mean, it's supposed to be a big twist.
So I never saw The Happening, but did they tell me it's the trees? Is that really what happened?
Yeah, the plants,
wind.
the
It's
like
plants start killing people because the people are killing the
but
plants.
it's carried on the wind.
Right, but it's
So whenever
spores.
there's a like breeze, everyone runs.
Yeah.
How do you? Wow, it's by the time you know it, it's there. I mean,
This is a movie. You think I'm joking? This is a movie
Yeah.
where they outrace the wind
Yeah.
to
That's
avoid getting the weird disease that
Yeah.
makes you kill
That
yourself.
feels like an '80s pop song, "Outrunning the Wind."
Yeah, like Joe Cocker or
yeah,
something.
exactly.
I outrun the wind. That's exactly what a song Joe Cocker
That's
would have
right.
sung.
I saw Joe Cocker in concert,
Yeah.
and he does that.
Was he great?
He was. He does that
bet he
crazy
was.
arm thing.
He knows how to put on a show.
It's not really a twist, but it really annoyed me. The fact that the new Dune was just the first part of Dune.
That's not a twist. That's
They-
just a marketing. That's
They
just-
knew that. That was told to us.
I didn't know.
Nobody told you that, huh?
Someone told me.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a 3-hour setup for the second movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very long trailer.
You liked that movie, right, Philippe?
I really like the new Dune.
Did you like it more or less or differently than my boy Davey L's version?
I mean, I always like
That's
that
how
one.
I call David Lynch. I call him my boy Davey L.
I mean, I like that version a lot.
We all watched it. We watched it for this show.
Yeah, I missed that one when we did that. But
Go back and listen to those episodes.
Yeah.
They're very funny.
Well,
I will.
see what you said. Remember how you called it, Aaron? She's gonna go hang out with Q.
Yeah, you said, why don't they hook up? That's exactly what's happening.
Well, now that they have matching safari outfits.
Yes.
So basically, Q put Jean-Luc through this whole ordeal just to make a point that Jean-Luc has feelings,
Yeah, and they make
which Jean-Luc was sort of denying.
they make him vulnerable, and as a favor, he tries to eliminate that vulnerability.
It does not feel like a favor.
No,
this whole
I mean,
thing.
it's totally not. It's
He's pretty much like the mean Brene Brown because he's like, be vulnerable.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that.
He's so pissed right now.
But meanwhile, Q has now he's like, this chick's kind of interesting. She's not like these stick in the mud Starfleet folk that I had been hanging around with. So he's invited her to like go off and do Q things together.
it doesn't make sense to me at all that Q doesn't understand how people can be, being that he can be everywhere.
Sure.
Be anyone.
You have to ignore the omniscient part of it.
What? This person surprises me. I know so little. It's...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
it's like he's never met another cheerfully amoral person before.
that's really what most of us are.
Yeah, Earth is filled with that.
Yeah. You'd love it there.
Get on TikTok.
But ironically, in the very
a zinger!
Yeah.
Right at the end.
Classic producer Jake
Classic
Zinger.
Jake.
yeah. Anyway,
I don't know. The rest of these twist endings, this is not a good list. I think
That's the bad twist to that webpage. These
well,
twists are terrible.
that was fun, you guys.
that was fun.
I think I've run out of things to say about twist endings.
There's
Close it up.
So I'm going to close that screen.
Close up the episode.
Do we want to do? I prepped some more.
Do you want to do an
You want to
only
do
connect?
a Connect 4?
Or do you want to do a?
Connect them all up or corrections?
I can save corrections
We
for
can do-
next time if we don't want to do them now. It's the episode's already over. We
Yeah.
should stop. I'll give you guys a quick only connect.
Yeah.
I'll give you a good one. You can't look at my screen though, because you're going to be able to see.
I can't see it.
What I'm. You're going to be able to see what I'm looking
I
at
won't
here.
look. I'm looking directly into Papa Shawn's lap.
Talk amongst yourselves. I have to get to the right. Like, I have to pull it up.
Was Sunset Boulevard a twist?
Sunset.
Well, no.
I mean,
they
it
tell you
starts-
he's dead.
Well,
From the
it starts
get-go.
with him in the pool dead. It's more of a
Who
how
done
did.
it?
It's not even a who done.
Yeah, you figure it's
It's
like,
more of a how did it happen.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the
The reverse twist.
twist.
I guess the twist is
I don't
she's
know
the one who
what
killed
twists-
him.
I can't tell what twists are.
I mean, the classic version would be like a movie where the murderer isn't who you thought it was going to be, right? In a murder mystery.
I guess like I had fun with the Ocean's 13 twist, where it's like, you know, they caught George Clooney and he was in that thing the whole time and they still got robbed.
Yeah, the Ocean's 11 movies are great at
Oh,
They
that
all have
sort of
great
like
twists.
how'd they do
How'd
it?
you do it?
Right?
Yeah.
Like that they give it to you right at the end. Okay. Let me see if I can give you one. This one's kind of a fun one. Your first clue is Deborah Lee Furness plus 13.
Deborah.
Lee? Or
Deborah Lee with a dad, like Deborah Lee, like her name's, hi, my name's Deborah Lee Furness, and then plus 13.
Plus
You're not going to get it from that one.
No.
Your next clue is Brigitte Macron plus 24.
Oh, age difference.
differences for first ladies
It's not first ladies.
or first.
French Prime Minister.
You don't know who Deborah Lee Furness is. That's the problem. Your
It's-
third clue. Go. You want to guess again?
And I don't know who the other one is.
like first ladies of state, heads of state.
Yeah.
Or,
See,
what are they called? Like
it's not. No, you
No.
guys are totally in the wrong area. Because your third clue is Gabrielle Union plus 10.
Well, he's married to a basketball player.
She is.
How much older they are than their husbands?
That's what the number is.
Yeah.
And it's not politicians or first ladies. It's just famous people. It's the wives
Who are older
than their famous husbands and the number of years that they are older by.
Nice.
So
Abigail Fern.
the fourth clue was Lisa Bonet plus 18 because she's
18
married
years older
to
than Momoa.
Momoa.
Oh no, they broke up, didn't they?
Yeah,
Well, they're back together. It's a whole.
They haven't divorced yet, but
Gabrielle Union's married to a basketball player.
Dwayne Wade.
She's 10 years older than he is. Brigitte Macron is 24 years older than
Who's she?
French Prime Minister Macron. Did you know that they met when he was in high school and she was his high school teacher?
Yeah.
Yep, I did.
Ooh.
damn.
They claim they didn't hook up until after he became an adult, but I don't think I
It's
believe that,
dubious.
right?
Yeah, no.
She's
Groomer.
24 years older
She's a groomer.
than Emmanuel. Right? Emmanuel Macron?
Yeah,
Macron?
yeah.
Is that his name? And then Deborah Lee Furness, who's 13 years older than her husband. If you were Australian, it would help. She's married to Hugh Jackman.
Oh, yeah, I knew her.
And she's an actress, but
Yes.
people only know her in Australia because she didn't
Yeah.
cross over.
That's where they met.
Right. Well, they're both Australian.
Yeah, well, they were on the show together.
Oh, right. But, you didn't mean the continent. You meant the
Kind of a
television
big
show.
continent, but
You know they're
okay.
both from Australia,
Yes,
Shawn.
I did know that.
So that's who that is.
Hugh Jackman replaced Kevin Spacey on my
Older
list.
women married to famous younger men. I like that one. It's fun,
That's
right?
good.
Okay, well, the next episode of Star Trek is playing
Yeah.
because I have the controller and I never bothered to stop it. I just realized it's my fault. Thank you very much for listening to Warped. Go to iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts, to rate, review, and subscribe. Email us at warpedpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at warpedthepodcast, merchandise at lunar_flare. We're on Twitter at Warped Trek. I am at Host Warped. Min is at Wet Maynard for Dungeons and Dragons and Call of Cthulhu live streams and podcasts. And we are on patreon.com/warped. To become a patron, get access to early release and additional bonus episodes. Eh?
And to
Yeah.
make
Not bad, right?
make podcasting art happen.
Well, we love you, men. Come back soon.
Yep, can't wait.
Until then, my name is Shawn.
My name is Matt.
I'm Jake.
Philippe.
Aaron.
Amy.
Good night,
Thank you for
everybody.
listening.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
That was strong. That was a strong close.
Close strong, baby.